Hi everyone, and welcome to York Region Spotlight, a show dedicated to giving members of our community an opportunity to share their success stories and to discuss important issues. On today's show, we're talking all about health and nutrition. We'll also be discussing the different ways youth can get involved in the kitchen. That's coming up right now on York Region Spotlight. Learning how to cook and keeping track of your nutrition at a young age can not only be helpful for a young person, but it can also help establish healthy habits as a youth transition into adulthood. Tonight we're talking all about new ways to educate yourself on how to cook healthy, as well as learning how to incorporate good eating habits into our daily lives. Joining us today is Denise Livotti from Petits Chefs Academy. She's here to give us the inside scoop on what this local organization is teaching the young chefs of York Region. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Victoria, for having me.
I'm very excited to have you here because right now, before we even started the show, we were talking all about how food and how excited we get about food. So I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Before we get into our conversation, tell us about yourself.
Well, a couple years ago, I had an epiphany, one of those aha moments. And
one every day.
Well, I was in, I graduated and went into a 15-year career in logistics. And I was chasing that, you know, that promotion, that paycheck, that pension, and I just wasn't happy. I didn't feel fulfilled. And, you know, on my part-time, like when I had my time off, my passion always was to cook, to garden. I love to garden and grow my own food.
Goes hand in hand.
Yes, it does. It's wonderful. And I was going through some health issues, and my daughter was going through some health issues, and I just knew that things had to change. So I took the opportunity to start informing myself around my daughter's issue and learning that it is, you are what you eat.
Absolutely.
And I saw that there was a big gap there. It's been going on for a long time where we are just not in the kitchen anymore, like as adults and as adults with our children, and passing down these important life skills to them. And I knew that to help my daughter, to help you know, her situation and our situation as a whole, that we had to spend more time in the kitchen, and that way was also more time not only instructing my family and my children on how to cook, but the masses of children that aren't benefiting, you know, at school. Clearly the arts, you know, they've cut out a lot of programs. Cooking, I remember back in my times, they used to teach us how to cook somewhat once we got to high school, but it's not enough. And a home ec class, it just wasn't enough. And I knew that we needed to get kids, youth and families back into the kitchen, discovering that, you know, discovering the value and joy of healthy nutritional cooking.
And that's how Petits Chef Academy was born?
Yes. Yes.
So how long roughly has it been up
It's been 2 years. August 2013 was 2 years that we've been actively, you know, providing cooking classes in the community of Vaughan in York Region.
So just to make sure everyone's clear at home, the strategy you guys use, it's kind of a classroom situation. So you have your head chef, which, by the way, we'll have Chef Jennifer come on a bit later, which is one of the chefs from Petits Chef Academy. And you have a class of about how many kids?
Well, all our programs are age appropriate. So we do kinder chefs as young as 3 years old, all the way up to the oldest we've had come through has been 16. So we have kinders, we have petites, juniors, and seniors. And, you know, we do other events as well throughout the year and at the academy that incorporates. Also, we find that aside from it being age specific and teaching them different skills based on their age, we also think that cooking and food is, it connects us all. It's transgender, trans age. So, you know, you can also be with your young sibling and enjoying some time together and cooking and learning the life skill together, no matter how old or how young you are, right?
That's a really good point to make. One thing I want to draw back on a little bit is you said that you have kids that start from the age of 3 all the way till 16. As a 3-year-old, I would have never even thought to learn how to cook, or I'd be playing with, of course, like, you know, fake foods and toys and things like that, but never wanted to actually go into the kitchen and get my hands dirty and get ready to go into it. But I think that's a great thing to teach for kids to get or to be educated about health and foods at a young age. And I think it's something your company really strives on.
Yes, I honestly believe is the younger you can get them into the kitchen, the better off. I mean, who doesn't remember a time spent in the kitchen with their grandmother or their mother? You know, a smell will captivate you as you're walking through somewhere, and it'll remind you of those times spent, you know, bonding together. I think it's vital to get children at a young age in the kitchen, and you'd be surprised how alive and interested they are about it. And you know, it's like little bees to a flower. They love that tactile feel, the touch, taste,
like
smell,
I said, get your
sound,
hands dirty,
everything. They love to get in there. You know, the rolling of the dough, whatever it may be, whatever task it is. I know my 5-year-old, I mean, she started very, very young. She now will easily take out a knife, and I feel very confident with her. Not a huge knife, but a small knife. And
With
chop,
supervision.
easy, simple, softer items. Clearly, I'm not going to give her a carrot because that's a bit too hard for her, and she'll need a bigger knife, and that could pose a danger. But, you know, you can get kids involved in the kitchen very easily, and they're more than happy to help, right? Especially at a very young age.
Well, something you just touched on right now that we spoke about off air is the idea of cooking with your family. I think that's such an important bonding thing to do. I enjoy watching my parents cook. I enjoy watching my grandparents cook. My grandfather was a chef. So thinking of the foods that he makes, just for example, this past Thanksgiving, we had his stuffing that my aunt has learned how to make. And that's something I hold very dear to my heart because it feels like
Home.
it feels like home. That's exactly the way to explain it. And I love that your company is something that's local and it's something that we all can relate to. And because you're Italian, I can relate to you on another level as well. But we love to cook, and I find that kids, especially the kids that are going to be here a little bit later, Jake and Rachel, they're going to give us the inside scoop of what it feels like to be in a classroom that teaches them how to do these amazing dynamic things. But I want to thank you for coming on for our first segment. We're going to join us with Chef Jennifer and Jake and Rachel in a couple of seconds. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Your Kitchen Spotlight. Today's show, we're talking all about health and nutrition. We're here with Denise Livotti, who is the founder of, remind me again, Petits Chef Academy. I was ready to say PCA, which is the acronym that we use here on the show. We're also now here with Jennifer, who's one of the head chefs of the organization. We're also here with Lucy, who is our public health nutritionist. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
I'm very happy to have you here. Now, before we get into our main bulk of the conversation, I want the audience to get to know you guys a bit better. So tell us about yourself.
I'll go ahead. I have been in the culinary fields for the last 4 years. I've been to Europe, I've been up north, I've done the downtown scene as well, and I haven't found that real passion. You know, like I love cooking, I love food, but it wasn't enough. So I decided to go into nutrition. And I found out that food and nutrition combined together is a greater success rather than just focusing on, you know, bringing that food to the table and making your food with more value without the price tag on it, you know, just making sure your body has that food. So that was my main focus, and I think that's everything about me because I live it, breathe it, eat it. That's it.
Literally. Literally.
Literally.
Well, we're definitely going to be talking about how to make your meals more healthy and things like that, so I'm glad you brought that up. But of course, I want to hear from Lucy as well, so go ahead.
So I'm a public health nutritionist, a registered dietitian, and I work with elementary schools, really around promoting healthy school nutrition environments. And one of our programs is all around cooking and cooking with kids and getting kids back into the kitchen. And so we'll
Which
talk
actually
about
we'll
that.
talk about right now. You're the chef. Let's actually see that for a second.
Well, actually, this is a campaign that we've just launched, the region's just launched, called Cook Up Some Fun.
Okay.
And Cook Up Some Fun is all about encouraging kids to get back into the kitchen with their families. So it's about planning, it's about going grocery shopping with their mom, their dad, it's about making that grocery list, and then actually cooking with their mom and dad, and then ultimately eating together. So the whole point is if they cook, they'll maybe build some confidence, they'll get back into the kitchen, and then they'll eat together. And the idea is that if you eat together, there's a lot of benefits beyond nutrition. I mean, kids will eat more fruits and vegetables, they'll eat less pop and less junk food, but they also tend to do better in school. They tend to, adolescents tend to not do so many risky behaviors. So there's just so many benefits of getting back at the table and eating together. And if they cook, then they'll probably eat together.
Yes, for sure. That's something that I find is not, I would say is decreasing lately, is that families don't often eat together, whether it's just busy schedules or kids are busy with extracurricular activities. It's hard to get a family together at the table. So to implement something like that is really great. And I'm happy to hear that York Region itself is doing that to promote it. So it's really, really great. Now, one thing I want to ask you is, what is your personal satisfaction that you get from Petits Chef Academy? What is it to you that makes you smile every day going to work?
Having parents write us and say thank you. My child is eating broccoli, you know, and they've never wanted it before.
Right.
I mean, we're changing them one at a time, slowly. You know, getting those positive feedbacks from the parents, saying thank you. You know, my child is more confident, you know, in the kitchen, and they're doing things on their own. You know, I think that's what makes me smile and makes me know that we're on the right track.
Well, one thing that I often look for in my guests that I have on my show is passion about the topic that we were discussing. And all three of you had that, and it's really nice to see, especially because you're sharing that passion with kids. And of course, they're the ones who are going to be leading the upcoming generations. So I can't wait to have Jake and, of course, Rachel here on the show, because they're going to provide some really good insight to this. But Jennifer, I also want to ask you, what do you find personally satisfying with teaching these kids how to cook?
That I'm creating a revolution.
Wow.
That's
That was a great way to put it.
That's all you can say, really, because, you know, I'm sick and tired of seeing so many adults sick. I'm sick and tired of hearing about diabetes. I'm sick and tired of hearing about cardiovascular disease, you know, cancer, all that stuff that we can completely avoid.
Yeah.
And you can't avoid it without changing something. You can mask it, but you can't change it.
Okay.
And there's only a certain amount of people that will listen and change, and who better is it than youth?
Right, absolutely.
That's pretty much
I
what
could
it
not have
is.
said that better myself, honestly.
You got it right on.
Wow, okay. Well, I'm going to go on to the next question, because I think you pretty much summed that up. What are the most common misconceptions that parents buy food for their kids? Like, what's the most common misconception for healthy foods, so to speak? Could you want to touch on that a little bit?
So you mean like what they think are healthy, but it actually isn't
exactly.
healthy?
I heard a little laugh. Here we go.
Well, there's lots of things out there, right? The grocery stores are selling all kinds of food that, unfortunately, the labeling is a little misleading, and we think it's healthy. So things that you see like Rice Krispie Squares, and it's
Ooh.
made with cereal, so perhaps it's healthy when it's really not that healthy.
Okay.
Once in a while, it's okay, but again, you just don't want to live on those. I mean, there's so many things that you see in lunches that are unhealthy, from fruit roll-ups. That's another, I guess that would be a big one. People think that, fruit roll-ups or those fruity kind of
Sugary
chewy,
substances,
yes,
yep.
because they're made with real fruit juice, they think that they're healthy, and unfortunately they're not.
And we were actually just talking about it outside. The companies have created pictures, and they got into the movies and everything, and they grab them, and now they kind of create like a market for them for the rest of their lives.
Okay.
So they got them from a young age and then keeps going. So.
All right. Well, what are your personal strategies that you try to teach not only the youth, but also parents as well, to just implementing better eating habits in their house? What's something you can do?
Different types of sugars,
Okay.
like, I mean, we have a Kinder Chef program on Saturday mornings, and the Kinder Chef program is for the 3 to 5-year-olds, so parents must accompany their children.
Oh, I see.
So this
Okay.
becomes a class not only dedicated to that age group and having them touch, taste, feel, work with the ingredients and putting a recipe together, but it's an education for the parents to teach them, okay, white sugar, turbinado sugar, coconut sugar, get them to see the different sugars.
I didn't know those
and
existed.
try the different sugars incorporated into the recipe, because we do modify all our recipes so that they are more nutritionally sound.
Okay.
A lot of these parents have never heard of turbinado sugar. They don't know what
I haven't.
coconut sugar is. They know the white processed stuff, right?
Right.
And that's it. And that's not only it. And it's opening that up to the parents so that they are more educated about it as well.
Well, we only have about a minute left, so I want to hear from you guys as well. What's a good strategy to teach parents just better healthy eating habits?
Read your ingredients. Try to focus on real stuff. If you can't pronounce it, don't buy it. And,
Good one.
Do a little thing where it's maybe Sunday nights or Friday nights. Make it home, like something from scratch, and kind of work together as a family to make a meal, a quick 30-minute meal kind of thing.
All right, go ahead. We got 30 seconds.
I would add to that just the whole positive role modeling piece, and make sure that if you want your kids to do it, then you should be eating well as well. So, just to be that positive role model.
Well, kids definitely learn by example, and like I said, we have Jake and Rachel coming in our next segment that will definitely tell us how they've learned from this amazing organization. So I can't wait for that. But I want to thank you both for coming on the show. You guys did an amazing job, and I hope everyone learned from today. I certainly did. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to York Region Spotlight. Today's show we're talking about health and nutrition. We're here with Denise Livotti, who is the founder of Petits Chef Academy. And we're now here with Rachel and Jake. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Are you excited to be here?
Yes. Of course.
Well, I'm really excited to have you here. You know why? Because you are two of the youngest chefs that I've ever seen. And I know for a fact, just by what we've been talking about off air, you guys can cook more than I can. And that's kind of scary, but it's an amazing thing at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, before we keep going with our conversation, I want to know something about you guys. So tell us about yourself.
Okay, so I'm 13 and I'm in grade 8.
Very cool. And how old are you?
I'm 10 and I am in grade 5.
Well, I'm very happy to have you both here. And I have to say, I like the outfit.
Thanks.
Those
Yeah,
are
sit
really
down.
awesome. And that's what you guys wear in your classrooms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, so first question for you guys. What do you love about Petits Chef Academy?
I love it that you can just like go in and like you can just like go in and just start.
Okay.
You don't have to like you don't have to like
So you can be a beginner and just
Yeah.
go for it.
yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
you can like experiment and stuff, but you have to follow the recipe, and it's so cool just having to like be there.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
great. I think it's awesome. It's an awesome place to learn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And what's your favorite thing? What do you love?
My favorite thing is like just cooking and experience and learning new things there.
I can't believe you guys are so young and so already experienced with this kind of stuff. I love to cook. I do, but I'm not the best cook. I'll be honest, I'm not the greatest. No, I'm not the greatest cook. But I know you guys really, really enjoyed this, and I think that's awesome that at this young age, you guys are already learning to do all these great things.
Yeah.
Now, what are your favorite meals to cook? I'm actually going to ask you this question too, but I'll let them go first.
I like baking. I like cakes and
Yeah.
cupcakes and like cookies and stuff.
That's my favorite too. And what's your favorite?
My favorite is like cooking eggs, making donuts and cake and pancakes and yeah.
You guys would make an awesome breakfast team.
Anything savory? He did say eggs.
Yes.
Yeah.
What kind of eggs though? I only eat scrambled.
Same.
Same. I knew we'd get along. Okay, so one day you're gonna make eggs for me,
Okay.
and you can make a cake for me.
Yes, definitely.
Sweet. Actually, no. How about you guys teach me how to make this stuff?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Awesome. Very good. How about you? What's your favorite thing to cook?
Recently, I go back and forth. Recently, it has to be the gluten-free pizza that we make at home.
Yes.
And
Let's talk more
we've
about
also
that.
taught the young chefs here to
So
do it
cool.
too.
I found out what gluten-free things were a couple of years ago, and you guys are so young. You guys already know what that is. It's awesome.
Kids have to learn these things
For
now.
sure.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask you a question. Are you surprised at how fast these guys pick up on these techniques you teach them?
Yeah, there's two groups of kids. There's kids that have taken a big interest in cooking and have already kind of started at home with their parents, and the parents are open to that, right? Then we have, and these children exemplify that because they
Yes.
are a little more advanced.
heard they're
than
the
typical-
leaders.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are. They're usually the sous chefs in the group because
That's
the way
awesome.
we
Not
teach is.
just, I haven't been yet.
Not
Oh,
yet?
you haven't been yet? Okay,
Nope.
well,
I'm
we'll
sure you'll
get
get your
you.
chance.
Maybe tomorrow.
I know
Maybe
Rachel.
tomorrow.
Rachel does definitely take a leadership
Atta
role.
girl.
So it's really great to see that these kids, when they come in, it's a very decentralized style of learning.
Right.
It's not a teacher up at the front of the class and kids in rows, and everyone gets into their groups. It's either group effort or individual.
Cool.
Everyone's doing something, right? And even, like I said, we're not born great chefs. We have to go through
My
the
grandmother
process.
was. I told you guys that before.
That's right.
Yeah.
Her grandmother was born a great chef.
used to
So
do grandpa.
they have to
And
go
my
through
grandpa,
the
both
process.
of them. You listened. Good for
And
you.
grandpa. So they have to go through the process, and
Yeah.
they all do that. They all get together and they go through it, right?
Now, what do you guys help with at home? Do you guys help your parents cook, or do you guys help them prepare the meal you guys are going to have?
Well, I help like chop the vegetables and like make
Okay.
the salad, set the table, just like that usual stuff.
Very good. How about
I
you?
sometimes set table, cut up vegetable, sometimes help with the pan, set things up, clear things. Yeah.
That's a big help. Just honestly, just setting the table and clearing things up helps moms and dads a lot. And I think you can definitely say I'm right, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Now, what kind of feedback? We mentioned this a bit earlier in the show, but what kind of feedback do you get from parents that have these wonderful chefs come into your program?
Well, we get lots of feedback. I mean, the great thing about the program is that they always leave with the recipe in hand. So parents and families and children can go back and share that recipe with their families, with their friends, and recreate it, right? So, and start their own, I'm sure you guys have started your own binders, right? Because it's
Yeah.
something that they'll be able to take home with them when they leave the nest and say, okay, these are recipes to stand by. We've tried them. They're, you know, we like them, and we can make them when we're in college rather than going out and buying box prepared processed food. It's simple. All our recipes have been shrunk down so that they are easier for, you know, people, like easier and time convenient for people to
That's an
do,
important one.
right?
I'm always busy, so something quick that I can whip up that's healthy,
And healthy,
is my
yes.
favorite. What do you guys think? Is being healthy important to you guys?
Yes,
Yeah,
a
'cause then
lot.
you have
Because
to
like,
stay fit,
yeah, you have to stay fit.
exercise.
All right. And you guys stay fit and exercise?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
keep a balanced diet and.
Very
yeah.
good. So what's something healthy that you like to have on hand? So like for a snack when you bring it to school, what's your most healthy choice that you bring?
Apple
Apple. Very good.
or like any fruit that I have in the house.
Awesome.
And also my favorite fruit is raspberries.
Raspberries, that's a good one. I like that one too. Now, how does your organization, I know you said the setup is decentralized. So that basically means that the kids are not necessarily sitting in a classroom. It's not straight edge. It's very on the go, a little bit hectic, which I enjoy.
Moving around.
Yes,
They're up
very
and around.
good.
I mean, they get to know the kitchen, where everything is. The chef leaves it open to them for them to make sure to read your recipe, go through the recipe, grab the items you need to create what you do. Like I know one class recently, they had to meticulously roll out for a whole hour homemade pasta that they made, right? And
Well, I
cut
think they're
out
awesome.
and fill them with you know, to make ravioli. And
All right, well,
so-
I hate to cut you off, but you guys did such a great job. I'm so excited to meet you guys. You really inspired me to get my cooking gloves on and make something home and hopefully something healthy, right? I want to thank you guys so much for coming on. Thank you to everyone for coming on my show and sharing your experiences and opinions. We'll see you next time on your Christian Spotlight.